What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about how to run a dig route in different ways. So we're going to be breaking down different defensive coverages that you will see as a wide receiver and how you can run a dig route versus those specific coverages. So I hope this video is able to help you out. Let's get started. So the first look we're going to be going over, you guys, is inside shade press. So this white line is going to represent the line of scrimmage, and then the orange cone is going to represent the DB. So anytime that we're coming up to the line of scrimmage, no matter what route it is, no matter what route you have to run, two things we want to look for in a DB. We have to look for his leverage, and then we also have to look for his distance. So what do I mean by leverage? I mean where he is shaded. So whether you're running a post, a dig, a corner, a fade, that's the first thing that we want to look for. So in this case, he's inside leverage, whether he's in press, whether he's 2 to 3 yards away, whether he's an off man, and we're going to talk about all of those looks throughout this video today. You have to decide that or look for that to determine what is he trying to take away. So when he's inside leverage, he has two goals: take away the inside and force me to his help, which in this case would be the sideline. So he wants me to just take off and run to the outside so he can force me to the sideline. Now as a receiver, I obviously have to run an inside breaking route, like a dig. So if I have to run an inside breaking route, a lot of receivers love to just be that dude who's just like, okay, I'm gonna go to the inside. But that DB is taught literally to not let us go there. No matter how close or how far away he is, his leverage is telling me, don't let him go to the inside. So a lot of guys like to give a move and force it, but if this DB's talented, he's gonna get hands and he's gonna force you way to the inside, which is where you got other receivers running routes and other defenders, and that's just flat out bad spacing on a play. So if you have to run like a 10 to 12 yard dig versus inside shade press, this is how you would do it. Now, before we get into that though, the second thing that we talked about looking for is the distance, because that's how I decide what release I'm going to use and how I structure my route. Now, I know this seems like a lot, but when you come up to the line of scrimmage, it's just one breath, one thought. It happens fast. We're breaking it down slow so you guys have an understanding of it, but trust me, guys, in a game, this needs to happen fast. You see that look, you've gone over mental reps, you've done physical reps versus that look, so you could just go and attack and play fast, because at the receiver position, we have to play fast. So inside shade press right here. Now, again, inside shade, don't let me go to the inside. Pressed up on the line of scrimmage so I don't have to close any space. So something I would recommend doing is taking what he gives us to the outside. But let's make him think that we're going to the inside to move him off his platforms. You can work any type of release. Let's say I do like a crossover release, some type of threat to the inside just to get him to move. Then I'm going to take the outside release. Now, when I take the outside release, I have one goal. My goal is to stack him. My goal is to give him this move. I run tight to him and get him trailing behind me. So when I get up to 10 yards, I give a move and then go. Now, we don't always get the luxury of doing that. Sometimes this DB's fast. Maybe my release isn't as good, whatever the case may be, but I still got to play fast as a receiver. And I can't quit on the route if I'm not able to stack him. So another way that you could run this dig is, let's say you give him a move, and let's say he's right on your hip at the top of the break. You drop your hips, throw him by, and then cut back underneath him and still run the route. So you can't just let the, okay, he's inside leverage, I have to run inside breaking route, let me try to break his leverage. It's not going to work like that, fellas. Take what he gives you. He's giving you the outside, so let's threaten him to the inside, make him think we're running a slant, think we're running a dig, and then take that outside release so we can maintain spacing on the play, but also keep route timing. The key on every single route, guys, or with every press release, is to keep timing with your quarterback. If this DB is able to get hands on us and reroute us and force his way inside, that screws up timing, and that's actually the whole reason that DBs press in the first place. They don't press to embarrass you and you get posted on Instagram. Like, they press to screw up timing with the quarterback, so the quarterback's drop is thrown off and then he has to come off the route. So if we can avoid that, take what he gives me, get a fast release off the ball at the top of the route, that's where we create separation. Off the line, that's where we keep timing and where we keep spacing. Now, before we get into some other coverage looks, you guys, if you are a wide receiver or even a quarterback watching this video and you would like to train with myself, my staff of coaches this offseason, we are going to be traveling out to 8 more cities across the entire U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camp. So guys, go to that very first link in the description below. That is where you can sign up to attend if you would like to work with myself. We are going to be coming out to Chicago, Illinois next. Then after that, we will be coming out to Newark, New Jersey, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and finishing off our camp tour, guys, in Los Angeles, California. So fellas, want some more information, you want to sign up, go to that very first link in the description below. Our Chicago, Illinois camp, and I want to say our Boston, Massachusetts camp are completely sold out because we limit spots spots so we can work with each athlete individually. We don't want 300, 400 people there where we're just going fast and nobody gets any quality reps. It's about quality, not run you through as fast as we can and get as much quantity. So that's why they sell out fast, guys. Make sure you take advantage of us having spots available. We only have about 3 to 4 spots left in each camp. So go to that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out. Now, the next coverage look that we're going to be talking about, fellas, is called head up catch technique. So what is catch technique? Catch technique is where a DB, he could do this when he's inside shade, head up right in front of us, or outside leverage. That's when he's about 2 to 3 yards away. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to catch us and get hands on us. What he's hoping that the receiver does is, because he's 2 to 3 yards away, that the receiver just takes off and tries to run around him, so then he could get hands and reroute us either inside to his help or outside towards the sideline to disrupt the route timing with our quarterback and route spacing. So let's say, for example, we have this DB, this is head up, so that means that he's right in front of us. So you might have trouble seeing the cone. That's why I'm kind of out of the way here so you guys can see it initially, because when I'm talking, it's going to be right in front of me, and there's a reason why we're going over this. So if he's 2 to 3 yards away, what he wants me to do on a dig is he wants me to just go like this and take off and run. So this DB could just shuffle with me, get hands, and reroute me to the inside to screw up the spacing of the route. So what I have to do as a wide receiver, remember, what are the 2 things that I said to look for? You want to look for leverage, and you also want to look for distance. So this time he doesn't have a leverage. He's right in front of me, right? But then the distance is he's 2 to 3 yards away. The reason why we want to look for distance is because we want to close that distance. So think about that inside shade press example that we talked about. He's right up on the line inside shade press. I give him a move. What if he was 2 to 3 yards away? I still want to attack his leverage, but I need to close space, then attack his leverage before I take the outside release. Now, when he's head up, he could do one of 3 things. He could either stay there, shade to the inside, or shade to the outside. So when he's in head up coverage, you have to be able to react as a wide receiver, especially on a route like a dig route where we could release outside or we could release inside. So the most important thing, though, is to force him to react. We have to close the space. We got to go try to step on his toes to threaten him. So if he's 2 to 3 yards away, let's go straight at him. Now, when we go straight at him, he could do one of 3 things. Like I said, he could either sit there. So if he sits there, I'll talk about what to do in a second, or he could shade to the inside. So if I close the space and then he shades to the inside, what would I do? Move to the inside and take the outside release, and we'd run it just like the dig versus inside shade press. Now, let's say he shades to the outside, because DBs, when they're in head up, they're generally trying to disguise what they are doing. So let's say I close the space and he shades to the outside. Okay, take the inside release, 1 cut, and then go run my dig, right? Now, what if he sits there? If that DB stays in head up press, or like head up press, head up catch, head up off man, you take the release to the side of the route. So a dig is an inside breaking route. So what release would we take? We'd take the inside release. So if I go at him and he just sits, okay, cool, I'm gonna take the inside release, because that's the path of least resistance. Guys, don't get me wrong. We talked about inside shade press because that's a tough look. I would love an inside release on a dig, especially if the DB's giving it to me. So what you would do, guys, is you would close the space. Again, we have to play fast. Our mindset should not be close the space and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna go inside. That's what a lot of receivers do wrong. They hesitate and they think too much. We have to close the space and play fast. So I wanna play fast. My mindset is I'm taking an inside release. My mindset is he's just gonna sit there unless he takes it away. So I go at him, he takes it away, okay, cool. If he stays there, my mindset is bam, inside release. That's when he's in head up catch. You close the space, try to step on his toes and try to threaten him into making a decision. All right, so the next look we're gonna be going over, fellas, is going to be inside shade off man coverage. So what if he's about 7 to 8 yards away, but he's inside leverage and we have to run like a 10-yard dig? What would I do? How would I run this route? So there's kind of 2 ways that you could do this, but it accomplishes the same exact thing. So if he's inside shade off man, remember, what are we looking for? His leverage and the distance away to structure my route. So we look at his leverage. He's inside. That means he doesn't want me to run a dig or a post, especially when he's in off man coverage. Okay, fine. Now let's talk about his distance. He's 7 to 8 yards away. My route's at 10. So if my goal here, a lot of receiver coaches will say, okay, you're gonna attack his leverage, give him a move, then you're gonna try to stack him. I don't wanna do that. We just don't have that kind of time, you guys. What we wanna do is we wanna try to split the defender in half. I want to try to attack his outside shoulder and sell vertical. So there's 2 ways we can do that. We can either put my head down and run freaking hard right at his outside shoulder and get him to turn, get him to open up, and then we break underneath him and we snap it down. Or what we can do is try to make it look even more like a fade route. So on a fade route, what would you do versus this coverage? You would stem to the inside and attack the DB, give him a move, and then go run your fade. So what we could do to maybe add a little something extra to this dig, instead of just running right at his outside shoulder, what we could do is we could maybe stem him for about 5, then go attack the outside shoulder, put the brakes on, and slip underneath him. So it's one of those things where you could do one of those 2 ways. What you don't want to do, this is where a lot of guys go wrong, is they stem and they try to square this dude up. The second you start to stem to the inside is the second that DB takes a leverage step and he starts to weave, and then your dig ends up running right into him, or your dig is on the opposite side of the field. Because remember, his goal is to not let us run to the inside when he has inside leverage. So you would attack his outside shoulder and outside hip, try to force him to flip his hips, and then we would cut back underneath.